You want to think critically about animal ethics, especially the question of whether experimentation on monkeys is morally justified? Then keep watching. Hey philosopher, it's Christopher here from thePhilosophicalLife.com. By the end of this video, you'll better understand a key case involving experimentation on monkeys, and you'll have 3 questions that you can think about with regard to whether it's ever morally okay to experiment on monkeys and animals in general. As a philosophy professor that specializes in ethics, I've had the opportunity to help lots of people better understand ethical concepts, and I look forward to doing the same for you today. If you're interested in learning philosophy and positively transforming your mind and life, then consider subscribing to this channel down below and click the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Before jumping into today's video, let me just mention that this is the first ever Thought Lab. Thought Lab is a new series on this channel, The Philosophical Life, and the tagline for Thought Life is cases that test the nature of things. So in the Thought Life series, we're going to be looking at cases that press against important issues, and then we'll be looking at questions that focus our mind to think critically about those issues. Let's get on the table the case we're going to talk about today. And that case comes from this book, Living Ethics by Russ Shafer Landau. There's a link to the text in the description below if you're interested in checking it out on Amazon. As Russ Shafer Landau says, in the United States, 18% of adults suffer from anxiety or depression, about 40 million people. Anxiety and depression can cause substance abuse, suicide, and other problems, especially in people who are not helped by today's medications and therapies. So, in 2014, researchers at the University of Wisconsin, or Wisconsin if you prefer, interested in the neurobiology of anxiety and depression, proposed the following experiment. So here's the experiment. They would take 20 Rhesus macaque monkeys from their mothers in infancy, so go up, snatch them out in infancy. Periodically, they would expose the monkeys to stimuli intended to cause fear, stress, and anxiety. And we'll continue with the quote. For example, they would put a strange monkey in the test monkey's cage, or put a strange human just outside of their cage, or expose the monkeys to a large snake. Shortly after, they would euthanize the monkeys and study their brains. Researchers hoped that by conducting these experiments, they would be able to come up with new medications and psychotherapy strategies. Now, many on the University of Wisconsin's campus opposed the study, claiming that the payoff just didn't justify terrorizing the monkeys in the way the researchers proposed. Now, let's ask a couple of questions. I'm curious to hear what you think. What do you think? Was this study morally justified? And then the key is why or why not? What grounds could you give for supporting or opposing the research on the monkeys? Question 2, researchers would never dream of doing this kind of experimentation to an infant human, of course. So are we justified in treating non-human subjects differently than human subjects who are, cognitively speaking, relatively similar? Why or why not? And then last but not least, the UW study on monkeys was controversial, and even the researchers, though they ultimately supported this study, could see that there were powerful moral reasons to oppose it. But few researchers would think twice about doing painful research on rabbits or frogs or mice. Are we justified in treating some non-human subjects, such as primates, differently from others, such as mice? Why or why not? So, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about questions 1, 2, and 3. Just leave your initial thoughts, kind of what comes to mind when considering those questions, which are also down in the description if you want to look at them again. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at someone who would definitely oppose this sort of study. His name is Tom Regan, and he's a famous philosopher that was responsible for a lot of the animal rights movement. And here's a great quote from him. And he claims that the problem with the way we treat animals is the system. Now, as Tom Regan says, the fundamental wrong is the system that allows us to view animals as our resources, here for us to be eaten or surgically manipulated or exploited for sport or money. So he thinks the main problem is that there's a system in place that takes us to have a stance toward animals, non-human animals, that views them as mere things for us to do what we want with them. They don't have any inherent value. They don't have any rights in and of themselves. So we can just go in and do whatever we want with them. Now, as Tom Regan develops his view, he hinges his view on the notion of inherent value. Inherent value is, as it says here, basically that all individuals have equal value apart from the value they are able to act as receptacles and conduits for. So let me just give you an example of what it means for something to have inherent value. So let's take, for instance, this mug. It's kind of warm today, so I'm drinking some ice water. Now this mug is a receptacle for the liquid. Why does this mug have value? Well, if I view this mug as merely having value because it's able to hold liquid, then it doesn't have value in and of itself. Really, its value is solely attached to the value it provides in being a container for my ice cold water. Now, if you view humans and non-human animals that same way, then they only have value when you're able to use them as a resource or extract some sort of value from them that they are conduits for, like getting meat that can be sold in the market, like getting data, as in the monkey case, on anxiety and depression that can then be used to help find new resources and perhaps even some sort of medications or treatments for people with anxiety and depression. And so the animals themselves, they're just mere receptacles for that value that you can extract out of them. Now you might wonder what it means for animals, all animals, to have inherent value. Well, what Regan does is he develops a notion that grounds that inherent value. And that notion, as you can see here, is the notion of experiencing subjects of a life. They have inherent value. So let's look at this quote from Regan that sort of explains that kind of clunky term. As Regan says, we are each of us a conscious creature having an individual welfare that has importance to us. There's things that we care about, goals we care about achieving, and those have value for us. Whatever our usefulness to others, there's something that our life is like to us, and that what it's like matters to us. We want and prefer things, we believe and feel things, recall and expect things, and all these dimensions of our life, including our pleasure and pain, our enjoyment and suffering, our satisfaction and frustration, our continued existence and our untimely death, all make a difference to the quality of our life as lived, as experienced by us as individuals. As the same is true of those animals that concern us, the ones that are eaten and trapped. That includes the monkeys, for example. They too must be viewed as the experiencing subjects of a life with inherent value of their own. So the monkeys, for instance, are very crafty. There's actually videos you can go online and watch of them doing all kinds of crazy things in towns where they climb up, and they've got a whole series of really intricate things they do. They actually take some of the tourist items. They'll go up and take the wallet of a tourist or their sunglasses, go and scamper off, and they hide it, and they have a life and they have a conscious experience. And the way that their life goes, in some sense, matters to them. There's something that it's like to be those individual monkeys, and they experience that life. So that gives them, for Regan, inherent value, and as applies to also humans, this levels the playing field. So, as it says there, the prince and the pauper, the brain surgeon and the fruit vendor Mother Teresa, and the most unscrupulous used car salesman all have inherent value, all possess it equally, and all have an equal right to be treated with respect, to be treated in ways that do not reduce them to the status of things. That same idea of having a level playing field, all human animals have inherent value and have it equally, that also applies to non-human animals like monkeys and mice and so on. So, to summarize Regan's view, as experiencing subjects of a life, all animals, human and non-human, have inherent value and thus have rights. And it is immoral to fail to respect the rights of others, so it is immoral to kill or experiment on animals. So when the researchers go in and they rip the monkey away from its mother at infancy and then take it and subject it to all these terrifying situations and then eventually euthanize it and study its brain and its chemistry, the way that it was affected, then ultimately what they're doing is they're reducing that monkey to a mere thing, a mere item. And in that way, they're failing to respect the inherent value that the monkeys have. They're violating the monkey's rights and thereby doing something immoral. So that is just one way of trying to flesh out what it means for it to be wrong to experiment on monkeys. Now, we're thinking critically, so I don't want to make it seem that all I'm doing is just painting an animal rights perspective, because you could also make the case that that experimentation on monkeys is ultimately moral because of the value it provides for humans. And you might try to make the case that there's some important difference between humans and non-humans, like the monkeys, and that difference is morally relevant and generates a difference across the cases, such that it's not okay to experiment on infants, but it is okay to experiment on monkeys and mice and rats and so on. So I hope that was helpful. And as always, keep thinking critically and living the philosophical life, and we'll see you next time.